Good morning and a pre-Merry Christmas, my families. This is Coach Gary with Athletic Fuel Tank. And hey, I just wanted to pick up from where we left off yesterday. I wanted to give you the part two. Um, so I told you my journey. I told you where I came from and what I've done over the years with myself and my education and my getting ready to be a continued successful coach. Um, So I wanted to introduce you to my daughter. My daughter is Sierra, and she has started out just like any other kid. Interests. Did some ballet, some dance, right, some gymnastics. She thought that was a lot of fun. And then I was hopeful that she would choose the sport, and she decided to choose soccer. So of course, coaching her in soccer, looking at that aspect of going to practice every day. That was probably a good thing because she had to because I was the coach. Um, and then with that journey, I wanted to share where we picked up the idea of good nutrition. She's probably 7 or 8 entering into competitive sports. And I thought, all right, well, I need to give her the strengthening that she needs, the endurance, the hydration. I looked into that. So, of course, adequate snacks. So you think snacks for the soccer match would be fruits and vegetables and beverages, water, obviously orange slices you learned yesterday. And then the other aspect is, what do I feed her the night before? And of course I was like, well, I was told an athlete before they perform the night before, they should carb load, they should have carbs. But of course, this is things that you hear these things online, you see these ads on the internet, YouTube, social media will boast, these types of things. So, in so doing, I did a little research. I made sure I was providing her with the level of nutrition that she needed. A good balanced meal. What is a good balanced meal, right? We're looking at, fruits and vegetables, grains, and proteins, right? Carbohydrates, and how many do you have of those? And because of the fad lifestyle that we live in social media, we say, oh, well, stay away from fats, stay away from sugars, stay away from um, things that glutens, stay away from things that are deemed unhealthy by social media. And so people would subscribe to these diets. They would, eat a lot of bacon and eat a lot of saturated fats and things, and be like, "Well, I'm doing the keto diet, right?" And understanding the process of ketosis and how the body and the metabolism works is a key essential to that diet. But most people don't really look too far into the science behind it. They just see people doing it, they see results, people losing weight, and that's an amazing thing. So I really wanted to focus my attention on youth. I've worked with youth for 40 plus years, the majority of my life. And I noticed with youth that their eating patterns and their resiliencies, like I told you yesterday, was very important. So when I realized it was very important that the resiliency, because they always seem to bounce back. But as they get older and their bodies demand a level of performance, they don't bounce back as much as you think they should. Um, a good athlete that trains on a regular basis, that hydrates and eats pretty good, is going to do fairly well. But what is the edge? What do we eat before a meal? What should we eat after a meal? And does it really matter what an 8-year-old eats? And I think creating a good foundation, a good basis for understanding how the body works, how foods are processed in our bodies, what a calorie is, how the energy works, how our body metabolizes that energy, and how does our body use that energy. When we have our three energy systems, our glycogen energy storage system, our anaerobic, and our aerobic energy systems, and we try to understand, okay, well, how does the body use those, right? And so as we get in depth into some of those things, try to reveal the ideas behind that. But as they get older, they get into junior high, and their competitive nature increases. There's this desire and drive, both by the parents and by the athletes. All of a sudden, they're starting to say, hey, wait a minute, I am better than these other people. How can I even be better? How can I cut some time off my mile time? How can I cut some time off of my 3 mile time? How can I be faster? How can I recover quicker? How can my body use that energy in a way more so than someone else eating something that they shouldn't be eating? Can I have an advantage over somebody who's out the night before eating pizzas and ice cream and drinking lattes? Can you? Okay. So I think it's self-discipline. I think if you have a desire strong enough to want to be a better athlete, you're going to start to do the things. So a better athlete's going to hydrate better, right? Cut out sodas, right? An athlete is going to train more than they are allotted to train. Okay, three times a day for 2 hours a day, but on those other 2 days, they're putting in some other alternate training activities, skills building, technical, tactical training, watching videos, looking at, so those things are very self-evident. When a youth athlete is participating in those other things, then you know the level of seriousness. So you're ready to add in an aspect of nutrition in the sense of teaching the child when they're young, teaching the parents, so now that they're aware, they have the knowledge that they didn't get from school, because unless you're a nutritionist and you went to college for it, we don't get those classes. And so when we develop a mindset that is towards varsity athletes in high school, like we're serious about that. And when we're thinking about, all right, so what colleges are what field, what colleges are really recruiting? How do they recruit? What are the guidelines for recruitment? What do they expect from the athlete? What do they expect from the parent? These are key factors that we discuss also in our coaching. So I wanted to take us into, I have some questions for you, and I have a challenge for you at the end of this video to conclude our part 1 and part 2 session of an athletic fuel tank, and your interest in moving forward with something like that. As you know, we really come to the idea when we meet with our clients, we come with the idea, we say, all right, what are you struggling with as a parent with your youth athlete? What would benefit you better, like if they were to do a certain thing? And I'm pretty sure a lot of times parents are like, oh, I wish you would eat better. So we will address that in detail to really clarify their understanding of how that works. The second question is actually to the athlete, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16, 17. Listen, what is your biggest struggle with taking it to the next step? What are you struggling with to say, hey, I'm here, but I really want to be here? How do I make that distance? How do I span that gap? How do I close that down? Do I train more? Do I talk to someone? What do I do? Well, what steps do I need to take? And there are clear and decisive steps. And remember, when we do our coaching, it's not just, all right, you're bad, you're doing this. That's not what we're doing. We're changing our mindset. We're developing an understanding of knowledge for how our body works, understanding what foods work better, and then how to get to a point of putting those things together to make it a self-evident, a self-realization, like, oh, I get it. And then feeling it and knowing it, and then everyone benefits from it. So those are the questions I might have for you. And I guess the question from me to you is, do you need help reaching those goals? And I think we all need help. I needed help. I had to reach out to other people, other coaches. I brought in specialist coaches to work with my daughter. That was very important. But then I took on the role as being the nutrition coach for my daughter and making sure those meals before, during the week prior to a large competition, meals 2-3 days before, meals after for recovery were sufficient enough to refuel and rebuild the muscles and rebuild the energy within inside my daughter's athletic fuel tank. So what would it take you to, would it be to train more? Would it be to train better? Would it be to eat better? Would it be able to perform better? What is it that you're looking to go for? So I have an assignment, I guess, a challenge, if you will. Um, Discuss with your families. Sit down and talk about it. Like, hey, are we ready to take the next step? Are we really pushing towards the idea of, hey, I want to be, I want to be on the varsity team. I want to have that cloud. I want to have that Letterman jacket as a freshman. My daughter's glow when she put on her Letterman jacket and it's packed with patches. I mean, the sense of accomplishment. I mean, she earned that. That was hers. It wasn't given to her. It wasn't a participation jacket. It was like, I earned this. Yeah. And even her, I'm like, what are you going to have to let your boyfriend borrow your jacket because he doesn't have one? And that was a good laugh. That was a good laugh. It was fun. Um, so just talk with your family. Say, hey, are we interested in something like this? And then get in touch with us, and we will talk with you and more. Obviously, the consultation is free. We can sit down and have a conversation about that. So remember, I want to leave you with one thing before we go. The definition of insanity is the act of doing something over and over and over again the exact same way and expecting it to be different or have a different result. Is your sports life in that rut where you're like, oh, I just want to be better, but you keep doing the same thing and you're not experiencing the change that you want to see? The perspective of an elite performance athlete is that mindset and their ability to know how everything works. With that, the sky's the limit. All right, thank you. I'm Coach Gary. Merry Christmas. I did notice that my wall is red, my hat is red, and my shirt is red. So I probably look like a floating head today. But season greetings. I hope everybody out there is being healthy and well. Please be safe. Spend some time with your families. And I will see you guys out there. Thank you very much and have a beautiful, blessed day.